Welcome. Thank you for coming to my channel. Just showed you how to prepare plantain empanada, but what I call it is a plantain Jamaican patty. So the crust is made out of plantains. So I give you a quick, brief demo of that, but I also give you an overview of little snippets of footage of what I'm going to be preparing for you in the next videos. So definitely look at that. But also I have a testimony of Tambra Omiale Harris about just taking care of herself with self-care activities and what she does to rejuvenate. And then also the information that I provided for you at the very end of the video on why certain things are the way they are. The information that I've shared with you, it pretty much is representing what I'm going through in my life right now. You know, learning how to let go of old thinking patterns and letting go of things and people that no longer serve me in my life at this time in order for me to go to new heights in my life. I am bringing you this information because I really think it's so important to learn more about what is real out here. What's really real. I've been seeking truth, my truth, for a long time. And I knew that certain things just didn't resonate with me as to buy as my truth. And one of the things I'm learning is that in order to be your authentic self, you really have to express your truth and walk in it and be confident in it, you know? So please comment down below in the comment section and give me your feedback about the information that I've shared with you. So enjoy, and also please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you can receive all the latest videos. So enjoy, and I'll see you at the end. Boil 3 to 4 ripened plantains and boil until tender. Cut butternut squash into small cubes and saute in palm oil shortening. Add your favorite seasonings. Cook butternut squash until golden brown. Then slice and add dinosaur kale along with coconut aminos, garlic, onions, and earth balanced butter. Toss until kale is tender. Mash plantains in a bowl and add spice seasoning. Pinch of sea salt or your favorite seasonings and take a portion of the mashed plantain to form a ball the size of a tennis ball and flatten on plastic wrap. Add a scoop of the kale butternut squash mixture. Fold the plastic wrap and plantain and press down to seal the plantain edges so it will come out like this. Place patty on a rack of an air fryer and bake for 20 to 30 minutes or until golden brown. Or place patties on a cookie sheet and bake in oven on 375 temperature and bake for 25 minutes to 35 minutes or until golden brown. Add a sauce of your choice, such as this wonderful green goddess dressing. Miss Tambra,
Yes, ma'am.
what does this waterfall do for you?
This waterfall is very soothing. I've just come out of a year of some very trying and stressful times in my work environment. I work in a turnaround school in Southeast Atlanta. So there are a lot of compounded challenges to include just the way that the building looks and feels, the architecture, the dynamics between students and teachers. It's a lot of love in the building, but it definitely is a testament to how much hostility and lack is in the world, because there are so many people that are greedy, right? So being in this environment is a reminder of how abundant life is. It reminds me that I do have the opportunity to step away and escape and replenish and renew. And there are people that never have this opportunity. That's something that literally just came to me now. So right now, after having been in that environment, day in and day out for the last 9 months, being here just feels really replenishing. It feels like the air just feels different. The sounds are different. The way that everyone's moving is different. So it's just like, it's therapy for my eyes, for my ears, even just feeling the slight mist on my body, the cleanliness of the space. It's just beautiful.
I was shown that our reality is created through our personal vibration, and that things appear to manifest in our reality when we make an electronic connection to a complex grid made up of energy meridians. For me, this made total sense and confirmed much of what I already believed. Essentially, creation is already done and completed. Let me explain what I mean by that. Everything that you could desire has already been created, and it is essentially waiting for our command to bring it forth to our present experience. Once you understand this, then manifesting simply comes down to getting into the right vibration for whatever you desire to bring into your experience. How you effectively do this is by getting into the knowing that it is already done, and through living the experience in your imagination with feeling. I hope those explanations of reality haven't lost you completely. They are simply what was revealed, and they have proven to be true in my experience. The techniques which I will teach you in this book work. Period. Like I said earlier, you need not understand how the machine of creation works. You just must know how to run it for you. And that is what you are about to learn. So let's get started. The experience. Now that you have heard that you create your reality, it is time to live by design instead of by default. Most people have this idea that life is something outside of them and that life is happening to them. Most people believe this to be the truth, as that is what they are observing in their experience. As normal as this may sound, it is wrong. What they are observing is an illusion created by their thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about themselves and their reality. This is not some philosophical endeavor. Your human experience is just an experience. Imagine for a moment that what you are experiencing right now is something like a long dream you're actually having while you are awake. To take it one step further, imagine that you can control where this dream goes, as far as the events you will experience within it. You may want to reread that a few times to get the gist of what I am explaining to you. I am not saying that your life experience is not real. It is. It is just not what you have probably ever been taught before. Probably the easiest way to comprehend this is to realize that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. That sounds straightforward on the surface, but when you drill down to the true meaning, you realize this is precisely what I am talking about. The human experience feels as real as it can get. Your 5 senses are all communicating back to your mind constantly with the message that everything physical is actually your reality. So everything seems in agreement that you are here and that you are a physical being. To be told anything different simply must be wrong, as it goes against everything that you seem to experience in your day-to-day life. This is what you have been brought up to believe since the beginning, so it must be true. Agreements. How could most of the world all get it wrong? This is a great question, and the answer might seem a little too simple for such a complex thing as our reality, but it all comes down to one word, and that is agreements. The agreements I am referring to are what are known as pre-life agreements. Essentially, for you to come into this earth/human experience, the greatest agreement you accepted was that you had to agree to forget temporarily that you were actually a spiritual being. As part of the forgetting process, you also agreed to forget that you have the power to create your experience. You always have had those powers. They have just been hidden from you as part of the agreement. If you knew you had these powers all along, you would have relied on them to change anything in your life that may have caused you pain, such as losing a loved one. By avoiding these experiences, you would not have had the full-on human experience, which is what you came here for. There are other agreements as well that you made which you probably are unaware of. Did you know that you picked out who your parents would be in this experience before you got here? You may be thinking that is the craziest thing you have ever heard. Why on earth would I choose to have parents that in your mind are so screwed up? The reason you picked them concerned what you would gain or learn from that experience. Let me share a personal experience from my life as an example. I am 9 years younger than my closest sibling, and the closest sibling was an accident. You can imagine their disbelief when my mother found out that she was pregnant over the age of 40 back in the mid-1960s, especially after one of my parents was deemed infertile after the last child, and 9 years later, they are pregnant again. Being so much younger than my siblings, I grew up with a vast degree of independence, especially after my mother passed away when I was 6 years old. It may sound tragic, and believe me, losing a parent when you are a child is anything but fun, but it forced me to become independent and self-reliant. Those were two of the traits which I wanted to have as part of my experience to help me achieve what I came here for. When you learn of the existence of pre-life agreements, a lot of things which seem to not make sense on the surface all of a sudden make complete sense. How often have you heard someone say something like, "How could a loving God ever let that kind of thing happen?" when they see or hear what seems to them to be a tragic event? The true underlying reason may well have been a pre-life agreement meant to help someone on their life journey experience great courage to overcome a huge challenge they might not have otherwise experienced. What appears to be absolute chaos at the surface is actually not chaos at all. It is just different souls experiencing the life experience which they agreed to. Other things you agreed to before getting here was whether you would be a male or female as part of your experience, and whether or not you would be gay or straight in your sexuality. Who and what you are is simply perfect, and there is not something wrong with you which society would lead you to believe. You are here to be you, so embrace it and love yourself as you are perfect. Déjà vu. Another secret of the ages is that reincarnation is real, and that you have the chance to return to the human experience, and many of us have numerous times. You don't remember that either, as part of your current experience, and the reason is so you don't get obsessed about your past life or lives, but instead so you focus 100% on your current experience. When you have those moments where you swear that you have been someplace before or met someone for the first time, and feel as though you have known them forever, you probably have and do. Just accept this and move on, knowing you truly will never stop being spirit, and that you are timeless. One thing which I have learned from my own prior life experience is that we can carry baggage from one life experience into the next. Emotional issues which you don't resolve in this lifetime will be with you to resolve in your next life experience, and it will continue that way until they are resolved, so you can move forward. To give you a first-hand example of this, let me again give you something from my personal experience. In a past life, which was revealed while I was in deep meditation, I was a pioneer, living in the mountains of the American West around the year 1860. In the vision, I saw myself crossing some snow-covered mountains with a pack horse, and I was in a terrible winter storm. It was evening, and I was trying to get back to my wife and small child at home in our cabin. At one point, the trail gave way, and I plunged to my death off a cliff I was trying to cross. I remember feeling a tremendous sense of guilt for failing to get home to my family before being killed. Here's what I learned from that experience which accompanied me into this current life experience. When I was a young child around the age of 5, I had the same dream almost every night for what seemed like a year. In the dream, I was always being chased by something. And at one point, there was this wall I had to jump off to get away from whatever was chasing me. In the dream, I would jump off of the wall, and I would just keep falling into the void, never hitting bottom, and falling until I woke up terrified from the dream. The experience of falling to my death is something which came over from that past life, and I never understood it until I saw how I had died, and it suddenly made all the sense in the world. Another thing that came over to my current life from that prior experience was this almost obsession I have had my entire life about almost being the person to count on when something important needed to be done. That is fine when I achieved it, but if I let anyone down, I would suffer from tremendous guilt, which was not commensurate with the actual event in this experience. Basically, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, what should have been a rating of 3 on the scale for a normal reaction, I was always experiencing the feeling of disappointment internally around a 10 on the scale. I honestly never understood why I was so wired that way until I saw what happened in that past life. And again, everything fell into place and made complete sense. I was still carrying that feeling of guilt from not getting back to my young family from that prior life experience. When you get down to the core of your current life experience, you will see that the entire reality you are experiencing is driven by your internal beliefs and emotions. Essentially, your reality is a mirror reflecting back to you what you believe about yourself and the world you live in. Knowing you can change the reflection, your reality, through changing your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions is about as powerful as it gets. And the truth is, you can.